Okay, hey, and welcome to the Post to Post podcast. This is episode 23.
Heck yeah.
It is November 20th. The gang is back, all three of us,
Woo!
Neil and Justin.
The original Goal Horns video crew.
That's right. One of the most popular videos on the channel.
I still don't understand how or why, but...
This podcast is going to be a little bit different than normal because we're all back together and we're all giddy, and this will just be fun. We'll talk hockey, we'll talk other stuff.
Yeah, and we're using different mics, lapel mics instead of our good mics, normal good mics.
Neil's visiting from PEI, so he didn't bring all of his equipment, so we're using some of mine, some of his, so I'm sure it'll be fine.
And once we're done the podcast, we have celebratory cookies here.
Compliments of Justin.
Compliments of Justin.
Yeah, that's right.
But we're supporting some different teams here. You got it on an Edmonton jersey?
Yep, I got an Oilers jersey. I figured I'd change it up from always, sporting Penguins gear, so... Happy to support the Oilers.
You got your Penguins hat on?
Yeah, I got my Penguins hat on.
I got my favorite jersey on. And since I'm staying in your house for a couple of days, I thought, you know what? Let's show some respect to the Bruins fan.
Yeah.
Wear my Bruins hat.
I don't even have a Bruins hat that I like, so I appreciate that.
You got to get one.
I have an old black one that I don't really care for, so.
Well, I bet you Lids is going to have a pretty good Black Friday sale coming up.
Maybe.
So
they have some nice hats in stock right now. Yeah. I was in there about maybe 3-4 days ago.
Oh, we're going to the mall soon then.
Very nice.
Probably going tomorrow.
Executive decision.
Executive decision?
Yeah.
I thought I was the producer.
Oh, yeah, you were the producer.
I'm the wishful producer. Okay, so where do you guys want to start?
Can we just talk about Houston right away?
Yeah,
because I think it's the most interesting topic to me.
It is.
And I got Jason to print off this list of the divisions, even though I know them off the top of my head. I wanted to discuss...
It's easier to look at stuff.
I want to discuss relocation and what the divisions would look like if such and such happened.
Yep.
So basically, I believe the story is that the owner of the Houston Rockets, who also owns the arena, wants to have that arena be used basically every night.
He wants more venues in the arena because he owns the arena now. And you get 45 home games, which would be 41 regular and 4 preseason, I believe.
Yeah.
So he says, 20,000, 19, 17, whatever. I don't know what the population is. I apologize for that. Let's just say it's 17, 18,000 people times 44. That's revenue. Right?
And right now, that time is available in the arena. So why not?
And I think it's kind of proven that Dallas or Texas has a hockey market. I think that's fair to say by now. Would you not
totally.
say?
Yeah. The Dallas Stars are that arena's packed all the time. And there used to be a WHA team in Houston called the Houston Arrows. And then there was an AHL team called the Houston Arrows a couple of years ago. And it's one of the most populated cities in America. So this guy's like, we got the population. We're a sports city. We've got the state-of-the-art arena. Why not? Let's get it done. And so the NHL met with him. I forget his name. I heard you pronounce it in your video.
Yeah,
and when I made
I'm actually
my video
totally forgetting it off the top of my head. But yeah,
it's like Fatala or something.
Yeah, it's close to that.
Anywho's. The NHL met with him, and he asked all the questions like, "What's the process like? What are my guarantees? What's the stipulations? There's so many questions and legality stuff that has to happen. So we don't know what they talked about. We don't know how that meeting ended. We can only speculate, and that's what we're here to do.
Yep.
So hypothetically, that goes well. Houston is either looking at expansion or are taking on a relocation team. So let's discuss relocation first. We have teams like Arizona, Calgary, potentially, Carolina, Florida Panthers. Of these 4 teams, what do you think who do you think is most likely to go to Houston?
Arizona.
You think so?
And that's because to me it was a doomed franchise from the time it started.
Yeah.
Hockey just hasn't been able to flourish in Arizona to Gary Bettman's dream. The guy's been obsessed with having hockey there for whatever reason. They go in the negative every single year. So from a business perspective, I don't understand why you would have a franchise in a place where you're going to lose money. It makes no sense to me.
We were looking at the charts, the progression graphs of the teams in each division.
Yeah.
And like Tampa Bay just kind of goes up, and then Arizona is just straight. It's not even on the chart.
Basically, on the graph, they were saying Arizona is as bad as Tampa is good.
Yeah.
Which is,
that's crazy.
If you know how well Tampa's playing this year, Arizona is not. But
it's pretty crazy. But they have that arena situation. They
do. The lease runs up, I believe, at the end of this year.
They're not a profitable team. They're not a successful team, and they have an arena situation, and they're not in a location that is hockey related. I mean, it's Arizona, for freak's sakes. It's never snowed there. And
sorry, Arizona fans, we love you.
Offense.
We know there's a few of you.
Yeah.
there's just so many better hockey markets. And I really think with Houston already having 3 professional sports teams that the population in Houston and the surrounding areas support 100%, why can't there be a 4th? It's the 6th largest city in North America. So.
I think it has a lot to do with success, too. If Arizona was a successful team, I mean, look at Tampa. Tampa's fan base is huge.
Yep.
Look at Los Angeles, San Jose, Anaheim. Those fan bases are huge. It's completely to do with success. Because Pittsburgh, your favorite team in the early 90s, was on the brink of bankruptcy. And then they won 2 Stanley Cups, and then they started to get Lemieux.
Yeah, if a guy named Sidney Crosby wasn't drafted in 05, I don't think the Pittsburgh Penguins would exist anymore.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
It's kind of crazy to think about, really.
That's how close they were to, going into bankruptcy, relocating. They were that close.
And the Chicago fan base was abysmal for so long.
Yeah.
And they got good, and
Yep.
it's this, always in the NHL team. So
That's true.
The thing is, can Arizona survive that? But if they had success, it could be a good market. I think there's fans there. They just don't have a reason to go watch the games right now because no offense, Coyotes fans, but your team sucks.
And the location's apparently not great.
Yeah, and it's hard to get to the arena. And
Same argument that Ottawa's making right now.
So Carolina, let's move on to Carolina. We have a team that was in the process of being bought by new owners, I believe, and then there was some legal issues there, and now the sale's not going through or something. I can't remember the whole story, but that's a team that has absolutely terrible attendance numbers. I think the second home game of the season, I had less than 10,000 or something. Do you think that that would be a team that would move?
It's actually surprising. I mean, Carolina, just over 10 years ago, won the Stanley Cup, and they have a lot of great young players in their organization right now. And to me, they're an exciting team to watch. I watch Carolina time and time again, and I always enjoy watching their games, and I really don't understand the attendance issue for Carolina.
That's a good point. It's crazy to think about. They won the Stanley Cup like 11 years ago.
Yeah, it's
and
not that
now
long
they're
ago.
on the brink of, well, I wouldn't say on the brink, they're in the conversations. I mean, we're having a conversation right now of them potentially moving. It's crazy that a team can go from winning the cup to being relocated in 11 years.
Because the fan base was wild in 2006.
I personally don't want to see Carolina move.
I like the franchise.
I like the franchise. I like the city. I like the team. I like the colors. I like the name. I like the logo. And I
That's a lot of like.
And I like Scott Darling. So not that he would go away if they moved, but no, I think of the 4 teams, Carolina is probably less likely than Arizona.
Right.
What about Florida?
Florida, see, there's another one where I think a relocation could be in order, in my opinion. Very similar to Arizona. I don't know if you could do anything to really up the attendance. I mean, come on, they had the superstar known as Jaromir Jagr very recently, and did that really put a lot more butts in the seats? I don't know. I mean, they have some really great young talent, just like the Carolina Hurricanes as well.
They were at the point a couple of years ago where they were giving away tickets to people.
It's not good.
And when Boston goes down and play, you see a ton of Boston fans in the stands.
Yeah.
Same with Montreal, a ton of Montreal fans. Every other team in the league. Yeah. People go to Florida to vacation.
Yes.
And while they're there, they're going to take in their favorite teams playing the local team.
And the tickets are cheap. So
and the tickets are cheap.
If you're on vacation, why not? You're in the area, tickets are cheap, go for it.
And that might be the situation that Las Vegas is in 10 years.
Very possible.
If they're not successful, people just go there. The arena is just filled with fans from other teams, which... If it's still if they're still filling the seats, then I guess that's a market. That's a plan that could work financially. But it's not fun being a Las Vegas fan at the Las Vegas arena and being out-cheered by the away
I remember
team.
last year, Tampa was putting restrictions on ticket sales from people coming in because they didn't want Habs fans buying the tickets. They didn't want. They wanted their own. You had to have like a Florida State license plate or something to be able to buy tickets or whatever.
Eugene Melnick implemented that for Ottawa too a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's
and now look where he is.
Yeah,
he's closing off 1,500 seats in the Canadian Tire Center, and they're still not filling out. Like when we were going to go to a game on Saturday, which would have been yesterday, and when we were when we went to sell our tickets, I sent Neil a picture of all the front row bowl seats that weren't bought yet. This was less than 24 hours between the game, and there was probably, I don't know.
Oh, there was over 100.
There was hundreds of them just everywhere. It was just like, whoa. And then when it was on TV, it looked a little better, so obviously they sold. But
yeah, I mean, the prices are... I mean, it's a Canadian market, so you can't expect the prices to be too cheap. But there was a surprising amount of available seats.
It might have had something to do with Arizona, maybe.
That's true, and it was an afternoon
and it was a winter storm, but...
Winter storm afternoon game. It was kind of
I hate afternoon games.
Strange thing. What other team did I talk about?
Calgary.
Oh,
Yeah.
Calgary. This is probably the most interesting
See,
one.
I was listening to some hockey pundits talk, and they were saying that this Houston situation gives Calgary leverage to leave.
The team itself, yeah.
But I don't know if it does. Can you imagine if Gary Bettman let a team like Calgary leave and then let Arizona stay? I mean, he's been fighting for that.
Hey, Gary.
Been fighting for that team for 20 years now. And it's just, why would you let one of your greatest markets lose their team just because you're having a squabble with the mayor and the city over money?
Calgary is such a historic franchise in the past 30 years. I mean, they won, Stanley Cup in 89.
89, yeah.
They've been to the finals in 04, I think.
Yep, 04 last Tampa. Yep.
And, I mean, it's been a fairly competitive team for the past,
Yep.
for all those years. To see the team leave that city, and especially a Canadian city, is, I can't even fathom
No.
it. You just got Winnipeg back, and now you want to move Calgary? Get
See,
real.
the only thing that makes me agree a little bit with that statement is not the fact that Houston opened up. It's the fact that Tim Lewicki's in Seattle as well, and he wants a team.
Yeah.
So we have two locations on the West Coast, basically. Or I guess Texas is not quite West Coast, but it's over there. There's only going to be one more expansion team. So one of those places is probably going to get an expansion team. And the question begins, is the other place going to get a trade, basically?
Yeah.
And who is that trade? And I can't see it being Calgary when you have teams like Florida and Arizona.
Oh, that's the thing.
There would be an uproar, I would think.
If you're a Calgary fan living in Calgary and your team moves because, well, you're going to blame the city probably, regardless of, I would blame the city because.
But can you blame the city?
I think you can.
If you were a Calgary person, would you want your tax money going into keeping that team there?
Yep.
Let's say it was, I don't know, an archery team.
I completely understand
Because
that
not
point.
everyone in Calgary is a hockey fan.
But it's
Lots of them are, but
I mean,
this is a multi-billionaire 5-person ownership group in
It is.
Calgary. They don't need the money. They just don't want to spend their own money.
I think they would. I don't know. They would be murdered. They would be murdered by people because
It would be a massive story. A massive story.
I don't think it would ever happen.
I can't see it.
It would be sad,
I
especially
really can't see
with
it.
who Calgary has in their lineup now,
Oh,
with
yeah.
the Johnny Gaudreau
Yeah,
and
Johnny
Monahan.
Hockey.
That would be sad to see that franchise move, because to me, the Calgary Flames are right where they need to be in order to get deep into the Western Conference.
And they're not just removing a team; they're removing a storyline.
Yeah.
The Battle of Alberta.
Yeah,
The
that would
Edmonton
be
and Calgary
sad.
rivalry is huge. It's one of the biggest rivalries in hockey right now.
Yep.
And to remove that is unacceptable. I would be livid, and I'm not even a Calgary fan. I would be furious.
I would be.
And I
see that
I
happen.
blame that guy, Gary Bettman, behind me.
Calgary
Crazy.
Calgary is always jealous of what Edmonton has and wants the same thing. And when they don't get what they want, they fight like a little kid saying, well, Edmonton got it. Well, you got it before the markets crashed in 2008. And you got this and you got that. And the city doesn't want it. They just had their election. The guy that said he didn't want to pay for the rink got in again.
Right.
Not as much as they thought he was going to in, but he still got in. So, I don't know. If you ask me that, the majority of the city is saying that, no, we want to find out a different way to do it.
I didn't like the deal that the city put forth to the team originally.
It's kind of funny. It was misleading.
It was totally misleading
Yeah.
because the team would have had to pay back more than the actual cost of the arena or whatever it was over the lifetime of 30 years. Basically, the city was going to make millions additional money. So it's crazy.
Things like that take time. New arena deals don't just pop up in 24 hours.
No, it does take time. And the same thing happened in Edmonton. There was negotiations and threats of leaving and stuff.
Yeah.
So although I'm frustrated at the situation, I'm confident that Calgary will stay in Calgary.
Yes.
Yeah, they're too lucrative a franchise.
So hypothetically, let's just look at the standings here, or the divisions. If Houston gets a team, they would be in the Central Division. So that gives the Central Division 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams. And then the Pacific has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
There'd be 8.
So there'd be 8 and 8, which is great.
It'd be even.
It'd be perfect. Now, there's still an issue of Seattle. Because if Seattle gets a team, they're going to be in the Pacific Division. That gives the Pacific Division 9. And so we have 9.
So the question then
8,
becomes, this is kind of going a little bit off topic, does this turn into a bidding war between Seattle and Houston?
I think Houston has everything going for them because they have the arena that was
I
built
think they're
in-
way ahead of the
Yeah.
game.
Totally.
The arena was built in 2003. They already know that they can seat over 17,500 hockey fans for a game. They've already done the math. They've done the homework. They have a guy with more money than a lot of us, for sure, that can support the franchise. The $500 million buy-in fee, that's nothing for this guy. The NBA team he bought, $2.2 billion.
The Rockets.
That was in September. So, I mean, we're only a couple of months since then, and he's already looking at bringing in an NHL team. How much money does this guy have?
He's serious.
Like, come on. He's got to be a sports fanatic.
Yeah, that's great. So we'd have 8, 8, 8, and 9. But if it was a relocation team, say it was Florida.
Yes.
Atlantic would go down to 7. And then we'd have the Pacific with 9. So how do we fix...
Someone's coming out.
Someone's...
or they're going to redo...
It's tough.
The whole thing.
It's really tough right now.
You'd have to realign. The thing is, I really want to see one more franchise so that it's an even number of 32. The NHL needs that.
I think it's fair to say we're going to get that.
Yeah.
And Houston would be... Houston would fix all of the issues here in front of me. But, yeah, I hope Seattle gets a team, too. I think that would be a great rivalry with the California teams and Vancouver. And plus, there used to be a Seattle team.
Houston, Dallas. That could be a great rivalry, too.
That would be awesome.
Because what are they, maybe 250, 300 miles apart?
Yeah,
they're not too far.
I mean, in baseball, you have the Astros and you have the Texans.
Yeah.
Like, it's massive rivalry.
And Dallas is kind of in the middle of Texas, I think, and Houston's on the coast-ish. But that'd be huge. That would be great for hockey, I think.
I think so.
And
would you say if Houston got a team, the chances of Seattle getting a team drop dramatically, kind of like Quebec?
Yeah, I think so.
I would, too.
Yeah, I don't think the NHL would want to go over 32 teams.
No,
I really don't.
not.
I think that's the threshold, 32, and that's the cutoff. I don't think supporting more than 32 would be in their best interest.
So, if Florida went from Florida to Seattle, Pacific had 9, Quebec got a team, this went back to 8. So 8, 8, 8, and 9. Who from the Pacific Division could relocate? Calgary. Oh, Arizona. So, okay.
It wouldn't be, I don't think there'll be 2 expansions now. So it would always be 8, 8, 8, and if one moved, it would be 7 and 9. So you'd always have a hole where one opened up.
So Arizona would move to Seattle.
Which would give 7 here, and then you'd have to move someone back or move.
And Florida would move to Quebec, potentially.
I think there's only going to be one expansion team.
Definitely.
It's going to be between Quebec, Seattle, and Houston, and I see Houston being the front runner. For whatever reason, they don't want to have a team in Quebec, but I think that's all due to the Canadian dollar.
Yeah, and because it's Quebec. And it's frustrating.
But it'd be nice to see that Quebec-Montreal rivalry again.
That'd be great.
That's
and
just my inner child, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
Love to see that again.
I'd be down. I'd be down for that. And even watching Quebec play Colorado, because technically Colorado's the old Quebec
the old
team,
Nordiques, yeah. That'd be fun.
It's interesting. Kind of same with the way with that when Winnipeg plays Arizona, which is the original Winnipeg team.
Right.
It's always kind of in the back of your mind there.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was a good discussion on this topic. Speaking about Winnipeg, though, wow, Winnipeg's on a roll.
Love those Jets.
And no one's really talking about them.
No, it's kind of sad. And to me, they're I almost want to say they're the best team in Canada, but, there's those Toronto Maple Leafs that are...
Just won 6 games in a row.
Yeah, they're doing really well, but the Jets are doing really well also.
The Jets are quietly doing really well.
Quietly,
and we make predictions all the time, and all the time we're wrong. One prediction I think we all made was that Steve Mason would not do well in Winnipeg, and he went in and did not do well in Winnipeg. So I'm happy that we at least got one prediction right.
He could have been worse. He could have played like Niemi.
Yeah.
Poor Niemi.
Yeah, Niemi let in a goal last night. Poor guy. They put him in the net after... He still has the white helmet from playing for 3 different teams this year.
Yeah, that guy moved around
had to put different color tape on his pads and stuff. I feel bad for him, but...
I do. He's kind of like a scapegoat almost for teams that are having poor goaltending.
He's a Stanley Cup winning goaltender.
Yeah, but, he's not 25 anymore either,
Same with Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Cam Ward's still
Ward is still an amazing goalie.
But he's transitioned to the backup this year because...
But when he's come in, he's done really well.
Yeah. He's been pretty consistent in his career. He's had some injury issues and stuff, but what else do we want to talk about?
Well, the other thing I wanted to touch on was what was discussed at the GN meetings just the other day.
Right. Yeah.
And how the discussion is if there's a penalty in overtime, they want to take it from 2 minutes to 1 minute because of how short
I made a
duration
comment to you about this yesterday, and I said, that's ridiculous.
I like it.
A 1 minute. 1 minute's too small.
But
the advantage isn't there. If there's going to be a blatant play that could result in a goal, why would you not interfere with the guy to take a 1 minute penalty? You win the draw, you get it back, and you dump it down or whatever. Penalty's over.
Yeah, but 2 minutes. Like, overtime's only 5 minutes. That's 40%.
That's the cost you get. That helps prevent a shootout, and that's thumbs up in my book.
I'm actually surprised this hasn't been brought up before, because if it's only a 5 minute period, I'd be all for it. To be honest, a 1 minute penalty.
Really,
I would too. Yeah,
see,
I'm okay with that.
I like the 2 because that's a bigger chance that it's gonna end.
I just think it's too much of a percentage for the entire period length. Like that's almost half of the overtime.
But it's only a minute.
I know the point is that you're getting penalized, but it's to me like 3-on-3 hockey is way more exciting than 4-on-3 hockey.
It is.
Yeah.
So
exciting.
Keep more 3-on-3. We played 3-on-3 NHL.
Yeah,
and
we suck.
Man, we suck big time.
And with the way they're calling penalties now, I mean, the chances of a penalty being called in overtime are insanely high. Like if a stick is anywhere near another player's hands, it's called immediately. If there's any kind of whacking motion whatsoever for a slash, it's called immediately now. To me, the penalty calls are getting a little outrageous.
Totally, and the face-off stuff too. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. So I think this would be a very interesting discussion going down to a 1 minute minor penalty in overtime.
I'd at least like to see them test it in a preseason or AHL or something.
And something else that came up too, the puck over the glass for delay of game.
In the regular periods.
Yeah. During regulation, taking that down to a 1 minute penalty as well.
I think that's a good idea in a way, but I could see... Like they brought in that penalty because people were putting the puck over the glass on purpose. Yeah. And when the people do it now, it's never on purpose. It's always accidental. And it's so frustrating because you're like, oh my God, this is such a stupid penalty.
Yep.
If they brought it down to 1 minute, I think I'd be okay with it. But I would be worried that would sneak back in if people were doing it on purpose.
In the playoffs the other year, when Pittsburgh were playing Washington, 3 penalties in a row for the Penguins for delay a game, puck over the glass. Because Washington had them pinned in. They were just trying, to relieve the pressure. Yeah. Over the glass. 3 times in a row. I don't know. It's one of those situations. But yeah, they had players that were deliberately shooting the puck over the glass because there was no penalty. And, we're pinned in the zone? Shoot over the glass. I strictly recall a game where a player reached down, picked it up with his glove, and threw it over the glass.
I remember someone doing that, but not over the glass. Just threw it up center ice. I can't remember who it was, but it was a while ago, and they called it a penalty. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was
closing hand on the puck. I guess.
Yeah, it was something like that. But he blocked the shot. He was like, "Oh, here it is."
Yeah.
He just
threw it up ice.
What are you doing?
That's great. But I think it would be an interesting discussion
because you can't rule for intent. You can't interpret intent.
No, it can't be subjective.
Right. So you either have a 2 minute blanket or a 1 minute blanket, whether it's on purpose or not. Would you rather have the 1 minute penalty when people are purposely dumping it over the ice? Or would you rather have it purpose and accidental is 2 minutes? It's tough. I mean, if people are being honest and they're trying not to do that, then I'm definitely okay with the 1 minute. The question is, like you said, if they're back on their net and they say, okay, I'm just gonna flip it up 1 minute, that's not really a big deal.
It could be subjective, I guess, but it would make the refs look worse.
You can't have intent in a rule.
Yeah,
no, you can't. I'm all for it for overtime, but for regulation.
But there's so much not black and white in rules already, like that face-off rule. Sometimes they call it, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they call it the slash.
I think all rules are like that. It's just like if you played a game the way the rules were meant to be played, there'd be whistles all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean, you always have the room for human error as well. I mean, look at the coach's challenge they brought in. Obviously, the ref will call it a goal as the play happens, but then upon review, they overturn it because, oh, wait, now I see it, from a different angle, slow motion. Okay, yes, there really was goalie interference. So we'll take the goal away.
I don't know how you guys feel, but I really like the changes that they made to the coach's challenge where you get a penalty if you challenge an offside and it's not offside or something like that. I don't remember what it is, but you get a penalty, you get penalized. I like that. How do you guys feel about that?
I love it.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Give them a 2 minute for delay game.
It's basically been turned into another timeout, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I got to use this now.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't win. Okay, no big deal. I just wasted 2 minutes of time talking to my boys, right?
Yeah.
Which is basically what it turned into.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem was the other year, the coaches' challenges were just outrageous.
There was too many.
They were getting out of control.
I think there was a Pittsburgh Colorado game or something that was they waited like 12 minutes for some review to happen?
Yeah, there was one that was just pathetic. You know, the players were yelling across the ice like, any updates? Because it was forever and a day. But it was just out of control. So they had to do something to try to limit the amount of coaches' challenges. And already this year, I noticed a big difference. There's not as many challenges.
What was the stat that we heard last night about shorthanded goals? 64 shorthanded goals already this year?
They said there was 20 more goals this year than last year.
Yeah, shorthanded goals.
Is that over the whole period last year or just up to this point
They
last
didn't
year?
clarify.
Yeah, I think it was Jim Houston on the CBC. It was on the Hockey Night in Canada feed, maybe. He was basically said that that's the 64th shorthanded goal this year, 20 more than last year.
Yep.
Is that total last year or up to this point last
I'm
year?
not sure.
So, but 64 shorthanded goals. So
That
far,
seems
we're only
like
a month in the season.
That's a lot.
What's going on?
Yeah,
That's
about
crazy.
25% through the season.
Goal scoring
roughly.
in total is up.
Yeah.
It's way up.
Yeah, teams defensively have not been as good as they usually are.
Like I said that to you yesterday. It's like, what's the reason for it? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't-
What's changed?
It's such a faster game than it was even 5 years ago. There's so many, so much.
it is.
Teams are so much younger now.
Do you like the no timeout after an icing?
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's amazing.
I love it.
I like that.
That should have been implemented 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
NHL
Should've.
slow to test stuff.
Yeah,
That's
they
one
are.
thing
They're
there.
very slow for change.
Very slow.
You know, they don't like change
No.
unless it's going to mean more of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they're all for it. Oh, yeah, we'll put that in right away. It's going to mean more money for us? Yeah, we'll do it. But yeah, there's a shorthanded goal even in the Penguins game last night. They scored a shorthanded goal against Chicago. And, you know, for them to score a shorthanded goal, you know what's up.
Yeah, that was a terrible back check by the defenseman there in Chicago. I don't know who it was. It wasn't really a back check, but I think, was it Kuhnelke or someone? To
I
strip
sadly
the puck?
can't even remember.
Yeah, it was. We watched the highlights before you came over.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the Boston San Jose highlights?
No, that's one of the 2 or 3 games I did not watch the highlights
Okay,
from.
so San Jose got a goal called back on them, and it was goaltender interference. He pushed him into the net, and then Boston went down and scored a goal. It was clearly goaltender interference.
It was questionable. It was questionable.
It was it was totally goaltender interference, and they counted it a goal. No, they didn't even talk about it.
Now I need to see
what's
this.
going on. This is clearly goaltender interference.
It was a
He's
good goal,
riled up.
boys.
He's riled up.
It was a good goal, boys.
And then they didn't show it in the highlights, but apparently San Jose had 2 other goals called back on them after that.
We had someone in our Discord mention that. Shout out Discord. If you're not on our Discord, you should be on our Discord. So yeah, Luke on Discord messaged Neil, I think, or was it just in the chat? But he was talking about all these goals being caught back. We only seen one of them on the highlights, and the one on the highlights was definitely clearly goaltender interference. The return goal by Boston that we seen on the highlights was probably also goaltender interference.
Totally.
I mean, the guy just
checked the goalie
barreled
in the
right
net.
into the goalie. There was a guy right on him. I didn't see if he pushed him or anything because you couldn't tell in the highlights. But I mean, he clearly knocked him out. Like,
I'm calling shenanigans on that one.
But speaking of San Jose, I want to mention this, and I showed you the clip. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. The Comcast Sports Network that does the San Jose games.
Yeah.
San Jose was playing Luongo, and basically, did you see this highlight? He had Luongo had the puck trapped in the little triangle part of his pad, so it was clearly stopped, but it wasn't covered by his glove. And the guy on the Florida team takes his stick and shoves the whole leg into the net. And they called it a goal on the ice, and then they reviewed it, and the announcers were saying, well, he didn't have it covered. He has a right to play that puck. You don't have a right to push the goaltender into the net.
You can't take
and then they were blown away when the call got overturned, and I'm just like, if you are the source for teaching people in California how to play hockey, you guys need a lesson in what's goaltender interference and what's not. That just blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. As soon as he came over, I had to show it to him. It's just like, you got to see this. Like, Luongo was furious, and for good reason. I was just like, wow.
And the reaction was funny because the ref announced the goal over the speaker, or the no goal over the speaker, and there was just silence, and then just, wow.
The guy's just, wow.
Yeah, because if the puck is visible, you can play it. Play the puck, not the
goalie. And that's what I mentioned to him. You didn't play the puck. You shoved his leg right into the...
He turned him all around.
It's like last year, a couple years ago, we seen the guy drag Carey Price right out of the net,
Okay,
and the goal.
That's one of my favorite clips ever because he's going one way as the play's going the next, and you just see him going. It's as if he's trying to stop himself, and he's just being dragged further and further away from the crease.
Like, if you look at the camera angle from in the net, you can't even see Carey Price.
Yeah, he's gone.
over in the corner of the frame. And how is that a goal?
But the best part about that is I was at your house when we were watching that game.
Yeah.
And I said, that's going to be counted a good goal. And I was totally joking with you. And then they called it a goal, and we were both just blown away. Like, what?
It's so inconsistent. That's what's frustrating being a fan. But
like if there's ever a compilation video, like if TSN or Sportsnet ever do one of those top 10 like worst calls for goaltender interference, that's going to be up there.
I'd say top 5 for sure, maybe top 3, maybe number 1.
It could be number 1.
So
Could
bad.
be number 1 in my book.
So bad. And they went to Toronto and reviewed it. It was the worst
It was
part.
a long process. Yeah.
So I don't know if they're saying like he had part of his skate out of the paint or what, but either way, you cannot drag a goalie by his feet, have him being pulled away from the puck facing it, and then they knock the puck in and say, "There's a goal right there."
As if gravity changed, and Price just went away, just fell. It was amazing, but frustrating.
Well, speaking of Price, maybe we could touch on Montreal.
Oh yeah,
and their current struggles.
I guess we should. Unfortunately, it's okay. So we went through Price.
Before we start this, I want you to tell me what place in the division Montreal is in right now.
Probably second last.
You have it right here.
Third last. Third last. So
third last.
They are
barely below the Boston Bruins.
They're Detroit hopped Ottawa. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I mean, Montreal's not doing well, but they're only 6 points back of third in the division, which is surprising.
That's how this league is now, basically.
Yeah. But okay, so you had Price, great goalie.
Yep.
Injured. Montoya, career backup, I would say, pretty decent. Injured, concussion.
Yep.
Then you had Charlie Lindgren come in, played well. Had Fucali backing him up. 2 minor league goals. Kind of in the situation that Las Vegas is in.
Yes.
You sent Fucali back in, then you got Niemi, a goaltender who has a goals against average this year of 6.47.
Yep.
Just think about that. 6.47 goals against. It's insane. So now you have Niemi, who maybe shouldn't even be in the NHL anymore, and Lindgren, who's a minor league goalie, being asked to do what Price does. And Price is just kind of in the background trying to get better, which is fine and stuff, but we've been here before. 2 years ago, the same thing happened. He got injured. Oh, I'm just going to be on for a couple of games. Oh, it's going to be another week, another 2 weeks. 6 months later, Carey Price has to have surgery or whatever.
Right.
So, I don't understand. I hate the communication from the Montreal organization.
Like, all coaches do it now. It's just like, I don't know what's wrong with him. I haven't heard. Okay, of course you know what's wrong with him. You have a medical staff that's paid by the team to tell you what's wrong with him. Yes, you're probably being told not to tell the media. Don't come out and tell us, I don't know what's wrong with him. That's the stupidest thing going right now.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing, oh, I don't know. I haven't heard yet. Like, Austin Matthews got hurt. Oh, I haven't heard from the doctors yet. Yes, you heard. You heard right away. As soon as you got back in that room when that game ended, you knew exactly what was wrong with him.
You was straight there. Like, what's wrong with him?
So just say, we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's a team matter. We're keeping that confidential.
Yeah, don't lie. What's the point of lying? We know you're lying.
That's right.
Stop it. It's frustrating. And Tim and Sid had a great session on this, I think it was maybe a week and a half ago. And they said, Bergevin came out and publicly said that he didn't know that Price was injured until the next day. Because it would happen during the warm-up of the Minnesota game or whatever, and Bergevin didn't know. Is that on Bergevin or is that on Price for not telling
that should be on the medical staff.
It should be on the medical staff.
If anybody.
But what if Price didn't tell the medical staff until the next day? Because Price said he didn't feel it like crazy. He didn't feel it during the game, but obviously he did. He let in 6 goals, and he didn't really feel it until the next day, and that's when he basically told people.
I think if you have a player that's probably your most important player, and a player that has a history of stuff, and you have a medical staff, and I think they should be paid to be looking at him during the game and saying, hey, something's off on this guy tonight. And they should be going over him.
So you think it's on the onus is on the medical staff?
I think it's, without being in there and knowing, I would say it's somewhere between there and somewhere between him, if that's the deal.
Because, I mean, he's a star. He's got pride. He wants to play. He wants to battle through it. But I think most of the blame goes on Price because of the injury issues. Why is he putting
himself? It just depends. If he kept that to himself, then obviously it's him because they don't know.
Yeah.
But if the medical staff know, or if he said, yeah, I kind of have a sore area here and we'll see how it goes, I think the medical staff has a responsibility to report pretty much everything.
Yeah,
we're not in there, so we don't know. We don't know if Carey Price, obviously if he kept it to himself, it's his fault.
I think the blame goes both ways for sure. Because how did Bergevin not know? He let in 6 goals. Go talk to your goalie. Are you feeling okay tonight? What's going on?
There must be some sort of protocol or procedure, especially when you have an all-star goalie like Carey Price, where the medical staff will probably want to meet with him very frequently.
Yeah.
My guess would be after every game, well, how are you feeling today? You made quite a few spectacular saves like you always do. Everything feeling okay? A little soreness, that sort of thing?
Or You let in 6 goals.
Yeah.
You feeling okay?
Yeah.
You could go both ways.
I mean, like, this isn't, I apologize, this isn't soccer or basketball where you stub your toe and cry.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know, hockey players have pride. Like, Rich Peverly basically died on the bench and wanted to go back out in his next shift.
They revived him and he wanted to go
So,
play.
I mean, if it's Price's fault and he didn't report it, I'm not upset over that because that's just a hockey player. But if someone in the staff knew and they didn't report it, then I would say that is an issue because the GM needs to know what's going on.
Totally.
Either that or the GM did know and he just lied and said, I didn't know.
Do you also think that it could be a little deeper than an injury? There's a lot of places talking about that perhaps the relationship is tarnishing between Carey Price and Montreal Canadiens.
I completely agree with that.
Do you think?
Yep.
Well, look at the eye contact. Remember that time where he came off the bench where he got pulled and he just looked over the bench and just walked in? Like,
it's kind of looking like Patrick Waugh all over again.
Yeah.
You know, there's shades of it. There really is. And to me, I really think, and I talked about this in the past, that could it be possible that you could see the Montreal Canadiens trade Carey Price before the deadline?
I think it's a year ago, impossible. Right now, possible.
With the situation they're in now, his contract would start next year at $10.5 million. That's a lot of money. And with the way the Montreal Canadiens are looking right now, does Carey Price want to be a part of that over the next few years?
And this totally comes
He's
down
in
to
his
Price
prime.
because he's got a no movement clause on his current contract and his next contract. So if he wants out, he has to make the decision.
To me, I don't know if it's a full-on injury because remember he started skating and he was skating for a few days and then all of a sudden, there's a setback and now Price isn't skating anymore.
Yeah.
And it's so weird because it's when Carey Price has an injury, it becomes the most top secret thing in the hockey universe. Yeah. Anyone else gets an injury, we hear things about it. We hear about progression. We know what the injury is, timelines, everything. Carey Price gets injured, he drops off the planet. He's gone.
Do we even know what his? Do we still just know that it's a lower body injury?
Yep. That's all we know.
That's all we know.
That's all we know.
That's unacceptable.
I just don't understand it. And to me, there's more going on than what we know because it's just so hush-hush all the time. And it's hard to read Price, too, because he's a very unemotional type of guy.
He's so emotionalist.
Yeah, like, I could probably count on my hand. I could probably count on my hand how many times I've actually seen that man smile.
Yeah, I saw him smile when he used to do the handshake
Even when
with
he
Subban.
gets angry, he doesn't look angry. It's just the same look at all time. You know, it's business 24/7 for Carey Price.
I'm here to do what I'm here to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So we saw, so Price aside, the Price issue aside, the goaltending issue aside, what's wrong with Montreal?
Well, one, Radulov being gone, he gave them that extra depth up front that they're desperately missing. And Radulov had a physical side of his game as well.
Yeah.
And to me, if you look at last year, Radulov was their best player.
He was.
And what did they do? They let him go for nothing. Absolutely nothing. If they had no intention of having Radulov remain a part of the Montreal Canadiens, why didn't they deal him at the deadline, get something out of it?
Yeah, totally.
It's honestly stupid, and that was a terrible move by Bergevin. Your mind should be made up with a player of that magnitude, and you should get something in return.
So over the past couple years...
Same with Markov. They got nothing out of that. And at the deadline, Markov did have some upside to him. There would have been teams, I believe, that would have taken on Markov in order to make a playoff run.
Because he was really healthy last year. He played all 82 games.
And Montreal must have already had their mindset that we're going to move away from Andrei Markov. And to me, he was one of their better defensemen. And they got nothing out of it. Again, two great players.
What was the biggest thing we said was going to be the problem in year-end videos going into next season with Montreal?
Scoring.
They are tied for second last in the conference for goals.
It doesn't surprise me.
So that is the problem. Like, we were right about that. They still have that cap space, do they not?
Oh, yeah, they've got... Well, they had to sign Niemi and they had to do a few other moves. I think they were sitting around 6.5 or 7 million.
So they still have wiggle room.
That's something else that blew my mind, the Niemi thing. Do they have absolutely no confidence in Fucali at all?
Oh, but it wasn't confidence. They said came out and said that they didn't want Fucali sitting on the bench, not playing. They wanted him to keep on developing in the AHL.
Well, give him a shot.
So
don't bring in Niemi.
No, I agree totally. Put Fucali in there.
He's proven himself, in my opinion.
He's had big games.
He's
World
an international
Juniors
gold medalist.
Yeah.
Like, get her done. Get him in
I just
there.
don't understand why they didn't decide to just bring him up and actually give him some games.
Yeah.
Split it 50-50 between him and Lindgren.
I think he's 22. Lindgren's 23 or the other way around.
They're
the same age.
I'd be frustrated.
Yeah, just give him a chance. Why not? I mean, they did it with Malcolm Subban in Boston. A couple of games it didn't go very well, but at least they gave him a chance. They got him in some games.
Yeah, because if I were him, my confidence would be rattled a little bit. Like, oh, wow, they had no confidence in me. They went out and got Niemi. Why didn't they give me a shot?
yeah,
totally.
That
would make me
ready
feel
to play.
bad. That's just me.
Fans were basically going for Marc Bergevin's head at the start of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And he came out with a press conference saying everything's going to be okay, basically.
Yeah, because we have Drouin now.
If they finish the season right where they are right now on this piece of paper, is he in trouble?
Absolutely. He won't make it.
No.
He won't make it to the end of the year if they don't get it any better.
I agree.
If they fall down the standings, he is toast. Because look what he did. Subban gone. Weber came in. Okay, Weber's a good defensive defenseman. He's even a good offensive defenseman. But it's PK Subban. He's money.
He's a fan guy.
He's money.
He is money. He was, a superstar in Montreal. They loved him. He was the fan favorite next to Carey Price. And wow, did people take that hard.
And then you have Sergachev, who you shipped out.
Right.
In 10 years from now, who's going to be the best defenseman in the league? Werenski, Schultz, maybe Sergachev? Okay.
Maybe.
Drouin comes in.
Yeah.
Clearly the most offensively gifted guy in Montreal right now. He's a magician with the puck. He's not doing as much as he probably should do, but he's still playing well and compared to everyone else. And it's Sergachev is just killing it in Tampa Bay. And that could be his surrounding cast too.
Well, yeah, that's why I said Drouin had, so much success because of his previous surrounding cast. Look at his previous surrounding cast and look at the depth of Montreal. I mean, there is no depth in Montreal.
He has no support in Montreal.
I'm sorry, there's no support. And I said in previous videos for Post to Post that Pacioretty is not captain material. He's not a leader.
He's not anything.
So there, sorry, I'm changing subject.
No, I was literally just going to bring that up.
Like last night with what he did with that hit on Kadri.
And then left the ice.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. He's not the most vocal guy. Like how often do you see him on the bench, talking to the boys, trying to get them, motivated, that stuff. I don't really see it from him. And same with the interviews too, post-game stuff. I just don't see the leadership qualities out of Pacioretty. He reminds me exactly of how Phil Kessel was with the Toronto Maple Leafs. They put him in a role that he wasn't conditioned for, and he wasn't, didn't have it in his genetics to be a figurehead, a leader, had the spotlight on him. It was a total disaster for him in Toronto, even though production-wise his numbers were really good. They were. But the leadership, that wasn't Phil Kessel. They're doing that with Pacioretty. If he was just put in the lineup, maybe even on the second line, and just focus, okay, Pacioretty, score goals. Don't worry about leadership. Don't worry about anything else. I think he would excel more than he is now. Phil Kessel with Pittsburgh Penguins, he's doing very well because absolutely no media focus. Let Sidney Crosby worry about that. Gallagher's my guy.
Gallagher's amazing.
He would be the captain of the Montreal Canadiens.
He's already an assistant.
I had to say.
I'm going to float a trade at you.
Ooh,
I'm going to float a captain-to-captain trade at you. Max Pacioretty for Ryan McDonough. The Rangers. Montreal needs a
Rangers would be insane to do it, in my opinion.
Rangers need a little bit of help up front,
Yeah,
but they losing McDonough on the back end would not be good for the Rangers.
No.
But Pacioretty is, I believe, from New York State, so I think he played hockey in New York. I think he played college hockey in New York.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. But
I just don't see the drive from him every single game.
He's the most inconsistent player.
There's one game where it just seems like Pacioretty wants the puck all night, but then the next game it's hit or miss with him.
He's a terrible backchecker.
There's no defensive upside to his game at all.
No, if you ever watch, I know not everyone watches Montreal Canadiens games, but next time you get a chance to watch Canadiens game, just for 5 minutes, watch Pacioretty take a shift and watch the end of Pacioretty's shift. He will skate back to the bench at -2 miles an hour.
-2.
He's trying to get back to the bench and he skates away from the bench. That's how slow he is. It's pathetic. He's not setting a good example as a captain.
He's not.
It's
gotta
so
set
frustrating.
Yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with Montreal. All of it really comes back to Bergevin. If you look at all of the changes he's made in that organization from the time he came in to present day, I give it like a week. If Montreal doesn't start winning some hockey games and showing signs of life, it's not going to last for Bergevin.
I said this on our Discord. Shout out to Discord. If you're not signed up for Discord, you need to join our Discord.
Do it now.
We're talking hockey all the time on there. It's free. It's in the description. Get her done.
There we go.
I said on Discord the other day. Now I don't even remember what I was going to talk about.
You plug Discord.
We're talking about Bergevin.
Bergevin not last another week if
Does
Montreal
it have something to do with
continues.
the Arizona game where people were saying I feel bad to be...
No.
Because Arizona beat Montreal and everyone's just like, wow, I'd hate to be a Canadiens fan right now.
Oh, no, okay. I said this on Discord and I didn't really get heat for it, but I think people were just surprised. I want the Montreal Canadiens to do bad. Mm-hmm. That's a weird thing for a Montreal Canadian fan to say. But
no, it's not.
It forces change. It will force change. If it's Bergevin, if it's trading Pacioretty, right now, nothing's going good. So something needs to change, and you need to force change. And not winning games will force change. So I actually want Montreal to do poorly for the next 2 or 3 weeks. That sounds weird to say.
The NHL rewards mediocrity.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, look at Pittsburgh. They were crap for so many years. They stockpiled first overall picks. Look at Chicago. They built a Stanley Cup winning team with those first overall picks, second overall picks, and
Where was Letang drafted?
Pardon?
Where was Letang drafted was it first round? And what year?
Oh, I'm going to say 2007. Because 2006 they drafted Jordan Staal, second overall.
Fleury, Crosby, Malkin.
Fleury was
Staal,
03.
Letang.
Malkin was 04. Crosby was 05. Jordan Staal was 06. There's your core for the 2009 Cup championship. And it was all through mediocrity because they sucked for so many years. Like, they sucked.
Same with Chicago.
It was
Kane, Taves, Keith, Seabrook.
Look at LA, how they built their team with Jonathan Quick, Drew Doughty. I mean, the same can be said for a lot of teams. You suck to get good. Unless you're Edmonton. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. Oh! How many first overall picks have they had?
Toronto, Matthews, Marner, Nylander,
Toronto finally did it the right way. Instead of, the Brian Burke mentality of now, and dealing away all their young prospects, all their draft picks for the now, they finally stuck with their mediocrity, drafted the talent, and look where they are now.
Yeah. I was having a heated conversation. Andrew Pillock, a Maple Leafs fan, he was giving me some jabs yesterday during the game or after the game, and I just said to him, I can't even get triggered by Maple Leafs fans anymore because I honestly just feel bad for you guys, and I'm happy that Toronto is doing good. Genuinely, I'm happy for Toronto and Toronto fans. As a Canadiens fan, that's weird to say.
It's been a long time coming for Toronto fans.
The fans, honestly, they deserve it.
Oh,
because
for sticking with them.
Is there a team that hasn't not won the Stanley Cup in that amount of time? Are they the longest team to go?
Yeah, they're the longest, Toronto.
Because it was 69, and then Buffalo and St. Louis came in 76 or something.
Yeah, because, Chicago was up there, too, until they started winning Stanley Cup.
Same with Detroit, I think, for the 90s there.
Yeah, because Detroit's last cup was 08, so,
Well, 97 and 90. But before 97. Yeah, before that, I think it was like 40 years or something back to the 60s.
It was a while for Detroit, before they won those cups.
Same with Boston, too.
Mm-hmm.
Boston won in 2011.
Yep.
It was
a while before
40 years or something like that before, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it happens in baseball, too. You saw the Red Sox do it. And so their time will come.
Toronto's on their way.
Come. Same with Buffalo. Same with St. Louis. I would love to see a St. Louis-Buffalo finals. It's not going to happen in the next 10 years.
Wow, that's out there.
But think about it.
Louis, Buffalo.
Going into the finals with two teams that have never won Stanley Cup and who have been in the league for 40 years or more, 50 years, I guess, at this point, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
Unless you were the network owner.
I'm trying to think of the last. I'm trying to think of the last Stanley Cup matchup where the two teams in the final never had won a Stanley Cup going in.
Let's go back through.
Oh my God! Has that ever?
The last 2 years, no. And then
last
Chicago.
Bunch of years, no.
And then LA. And then
because LA was up against the Rangers. And
then
who did Tampa play when they won theirs?
Calgary,
yeah.
In 04. And Calgary had won the Cup in 89.
Anaheim played Detroit, I think.
Jeez, it's always
who did Carolina play?
The same mixture.
Edmonton.
Oh,
and they won 5
I don't
cups.
know if we're gonna pick this off of our head.
Colorado played.
I don't think I'd ever pull this one
Detroit.
off my head. No way.
Dallas played Buffalo. That's probably it in 99.
If someone is listening to this right now knows, they're amazing.
Yeah,
that's an intense stat to know off the top of your head. It's one thing to look it up and then post it in the comments after, but if you actually knew it when you were listening to this,
right away.
That's amazing.
That could be it, though.
I think it is 99 Dallas and Buffalo.
Really?
That could be it.
Because I was thinking New Jersey in the early 2000s, but they won in the 90s, so it wasn't New Jersey.
And Buffalo should have won that cup, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. I'm pretty sure that's it.
That could be.
Can't confirm or deny. I don't know.
Who won in 03? Colorado? New Jersey.
Yeah, I believe it was
Colorado
Jersey.
won in 02.
02.
Do you think Detroit won in 01? Colorado won in...
Could be.
I don't know.
You're going too far back for me.
I think 99's the best year.
I think that could be it. It very well could be.
Who won in Okay, yeah, I don't know.
Let's stop now.
Yeah, let's stop now.
Well, we're looking good.
We're wrong about everything. You guys are idiots.
Yeah.
No, just
Well, hey, something else we could touch on is the Edmonton Oilers.
The Edmonton
and
Oilers
their struggles
are...
since I'm wearing an Oilers jersey, you might as well.
They're such a strange team because we have McDavid, who's obviously McJesus. He's the man.
He's the best hockey player in the world right now.
He has a bit of supporting cast,
in my opinion,
but not the supporting cast that you see in other few superstars situations. Like Patrick Kane has so much supporting cast.
Yeah, Chicago
McDavid
has
who's McDavid's best supporting player?
Maroon.
I was thinking the same name.
Yeah.
And Patrick Maroon is a good player. He is, like, Maroon's down here and McDavid's way up here.
Yeah.
Usually, like, look at Ben and say,
Yeah.
kind of like this. Like
the only reason Maroon has worth is because he plays with McDavid.
Yeah.
And to me, if McDavid's not putting up 3-4 points a night, Edmonton has no chance.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of McDavid, they're nothing. Sorry, Edmonton, but that's the way I look at it. If McDavid goes out with a long-term injury, say he broke his collarbone again, what happens to the Edmonton Oilers?
It's true. Same with...
Montreal with Price.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of other...
I'm going to throw this at Justin. I threw this at you yesterday.
Yeah.
There was a conversation on Discord again, not to bring that up again. But
Like, yeah, we need to sign up for Discord.
people were saying...
Plugging it heavy.
People were talking about teams that are too dependent on their main guys for that team. So I threw the question back out to them. I said, if you took the top 3 players off each team, who would have the best team?
Right.
Pittsburgh.
See, that's what I brought up was Pittsburgh. I said, and a few people did too. They said they still have Gensel. They still like. Who would you consider the top 3? Would you have Letang in there, or would you have?
No, I wouldn't put Letang in there because he's injured more than he's not. I'd put Crosby, Malkin, and Murray. Or you could have an argument for Kessel as well because he's doing phenomenal.
See, the people in the Discord were saying Kessel would be one of the guys left over, so you still have Kessel, Gensel, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Sherry.
And a lot of people are saying New York Rangers would still have a decent team because they don't really have.
Yeah. Like they're kind of
they're saying Tampa would have
flat
nothing.
If you took Stamkos and Kucherov, just those two, because right now they are lighting it up. They need more secondary scoring in Tampa. I mean, Chris Kunitz is giving that a little bit. Man, I miss Kunitz.
And Dallas too. If you took away Ben, Seguin, and Radulov, that's a big loss.
That's
a big loss
for Dallas. If you go to Chicago, Crawford, Kane, Taves, or would you throw Keith in there?
I think
again, Chicago would be one of those teams that could probably still excel missing 3 guys because to me they're the deepest team still in the West.
Yeah,
Chicago.
San Jose, you'd remove Burns, Pavelski, Thornton, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I throw Jones in there too.
Who would you move from Colorado? Not Duchesne. McKinnon, Landeskog, and who?
It could actually be. Yeah, that'd be a little bit of a toss-up.
I don't know.
And to be honest, the same would be for Edmonton. Could you even really pick 3? Obviously, your first choice is going to be McDavid.
I'd say Talbot, McDavid, and.
But that's why I mean Edmonton desperately needs more depth. They're trying to achieve that with Camilleri coming in. I love Camilleri.
Yeah.
He has more offensive upside than Jokinen ever had.
Yep.
I think it was a huge win for Edmonton.
Okay, what about Arizona?
Ekman Larson.
just him. Ekman Larson.
Yeah, that guy must be getting frustrated in Arizona. They have prime years right now being wasted away. Ekman Larson. He still got 2 years, I believe, left?
Something like that. And Mike Smith played there for so many years, wasted a lot of years in his
Arizona.
career, but
I really feel for them.
I'd love to see them do well. I'd love to see them make the playoffs.
I like to see all teams do well. It's just unfortunate that some teams have to do bad. But the thing is, with bad comes good.
Or supposed to come good.
Yeah, we've seen that over the
Look
years.
at Florida. They were so bad, and then they started to get good. A couple of years ago, they made the playoffs, and then a couple of years, or the year after that, I think they made the playoffs, and now they're starting to start that trend back down.
Yeah.
They came up, but they didn't do anything.
Well, they got rewarded for it to a degree. They have Ekblad in their lineup, who to me is one of the better defensemen in the league. And I think in another, say, 3 to 4 years, Ekblad will be competing for Norris trophies.
He has such a good two-way game.
Yeah,
he can contribute.
He's very
offensively.
smart.
He's physical. He's great defensively. He's big. He's a great communicator to the rest of the team. I really like Ekblad.
No, I do as well. And, he has international experience already, and he's so young. Even at that age, they were taking him for international competition.
Speaking of age, I have a question for a Boston fan sitting right to my left here. Chara.
He says he wants to keep playing.
I know, that's the question.
I'm not happy about that at all.
So what if they say hypothetically they sign him for another 2 years? How much would you, as a Boston fan, pay him if you were the GM?
A third of what he's being paid right now.
What's he getting paid now? Like 6, 7?
He's getting paid 7 something, I believe.
Wow.
So you give him like $2.5 million?
I would give him 2 tops.
But you have...
He's got a big stick. Yeah, it works sometimes. But, like, seriously, the guy is slower than a post. Like, you may as well just stand there and go like that. That's basically what he does. He's got a super hard shot. He never uses it. He's too scared of hurting people.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch the games, people know how to go around him now.
Oh, totally.
If it's a scrum in the corner, yeah, he's probably going to win that scrum. He's just big.
Yeah.
But if it's a moving play, he's almost useless.
If anything, limit his minutes.
Yeah.
Don't have him as your top pairing.
He can't be.
He can't be doing 20-plus minutes a game.
And he still is, because Boston's so young. Like, half the team is just young. And it's not like young Toronto young, like good players. It's just up and coming. They're working on it young. Like,
he's in good shape.
He's in very good shape for how old he is. But he also went and got his real estate license, and I think he should look into that.
Yeah, he should totally look into that.
He's so lanky. Like, you ever watch Doug? Remember Skeeter from Doug?
Yes, Skeeter.
Skeeter is the Chara of the Doug world.
What a great show.
Yeah.
Like, I think Bergeron is ready to become the captain. Chara needs to go.
How is Bergeron not the captain?
Bergeron is the captain to me.
How is he not really?
Because Chara's still there, and you just don't take the C away from a guy like that.
You don't take a C away from a guy that's 6'9".
Yeah, because he would pound you into the ground. But hey,
like when they have their training camps at the start of the year, he's always like crushing the newbies and just showing them how it's done. So he is in good shape. He's just 40 years old and he's slow.
Yeah, he's just too tall.
Because didn't he set the team record for pull-ups or something?
Yeah, he's like a machine in the locker room.
He's a fitness freak, kind of like a Gary Roberts.
Did you say the laundry room? He's
No.
a freak in the laundry room?
No.
He's got a big stick.
I hope I did.
Maybe you said locker room.
I don't know what I
He's a freak
said.
in the laundry room.
I think I said locker room.
Well, speaking of older players, what about a Jerome McGinley, who still says
He's trying to come back.
He would like to play in the NHL? Yeah. Is there nowhere for Jerome McGinley?
You can't slot him in Montreal for $1.5 million?
I said Edmonton should have went out and got Jerome McGinley. That's just me. I really
Would
thought
you choose between Yager or Ginla?
Oh, Yager,
yeah.
without a question. Yeah. Yager can still play at a level that can produce
Yager's
to the point of like a third-line player. Ginla, if anything, I slot him in on the fourth line. I mean, with what I saw with him last year, the tail end with LA, wow, I didn't really see much out of Jerome McGinley. But it's Jerome McGinley. He could still offer some leadership qualities, only to a team that could contend for something. I don't think Iginla would be interested in going to, say, Arizona or even a team like Buffalo, who this year probably won't be seeing the playoffs.
It's not a money thing. He wants a chance.
I think he would fit in well with Tampa on a fourth line. Fourth line in Tampa. Kunitz. He doesn't have to play a major role. Just, it's the experience of Kunitz and Iginla.
Yeah, because Tampa was my pick before the season started to win the Cup. And, I mean, they're looking phenomenal this year. And last year, the only reason they ended the way they did is because of injuries, in my opinion. Stamkos has come back. He's making a statement. He's had crap seasons in the past with the injuries. He deserves it.
Yeah.
And Iginla deserves a Stanley Cup.
He really
Come
does.
on.
We saw a stat yesterday with Stamkos. What was it? 55 points in the last 39 games or something?
Oh, I can't remember. It was high.
It was impressive.
He's got 35 and 20 to start the year this year.
It's like a guy coming out saying he has something.
It's
someone who has something to prove from last year, right?
Totally. I mean, he hasn't played hockey in like 6 years. He's been watching
Hey guys,
TV.
don't forget about me. I'm still here.
Yeah. I hope he wins the scoring race. I hope he wins the Art Ross. I hope he wins the Hart. I hope he wins it all.
It's exactly.
He deserves it.
It's exactly what I wanted him to. I wanted him to have success because he deserves it. He's a great player, and he should not have gone through all the injury stuff. It really sucks as a person to see him go through that. And I would not want to see him get injured and potentially think about retiring.
Well, the emergence of Kucherov is helping him a lot.
Yeah,
that's a story all on its own.
Would you rather?
Seems like everything he fires at the net goes in.
Would you rather have Kuznetsov or Kucherov?
Ooh, yeah, that'd be a good one.
I'd rather have Kucherov for sure.
Yeah, I think so, and I think Montreal would like to have him too.
I would take Kuznetsov just based on that bird, the bird celebration.
Thing. Yeah. Oh god, that was like the worst goal celebration ever. A bird, come on. You gotta look a little cooler than that. Jeez.
Yeah, it's not too flattering, but.
No, and he even did kind of like a duck face thing too when he
I didn't see the duck face.
Oh man, it looked so bad.
What are we at for time here?
We're at like a little less than an hour.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
So
already?
We're pretty close. So we could wrap this up if you wanted to.
Wow.
You got something?
I don't know if I have anything.
We have these cookies we got to talk about.
These cookies are homemade by
No, we're gonna let Justin talk about it.
Justin.
Yep.
Introduce us to these
Explain
cookies.
what's the deal with these cookies.
Well, they're chocolate chip cookies, but inside is a double stuffed Oreo baked into the cookie. They are delicious.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
We're gonna eat these as soon as
My family
these
made them
cameras turn
today. My wife and I and our 2 kids, so we had fun.
on. Heck yeah!
They're really good. So I brought one for each of these guys.
They look amazing.
Well, they're huge, actually. They're a little
look at
bigger
this
than
case.
we thought they would be.
Look at this Tupperware thing. And
But-
there's only 2 in here.
Yeah, there's only 2 in
and
there.
it fits the entire length.
Yeah, it's
of the-
almost a meal all on its own.
I'm down.
That'll definitely be your sugar intake for the weekend, right there.
Well, we have 44 other cookies to eat
It's 4
upstairs.
minutes.
So,
Neil and I baked cookies yesterday.
yeah,
It was amazing.
you could.
When not watching hockey, they bake cookies.
We made homemade chicken nuggets. We
Yeah.
made all kinds of stuff.
we were in the kitchen.
We
were,
made some serious stuff.
Yeah. We didn't. We didn't do anything film related yesterday.
We did a lot of technical stuff film related.
Oh yeah, we did. Let's talk about that a little
All
bit.
right. I'll let you go ahead.
I would say I know Photoshop pretty well. I know Premiere pretty well now.
Let's talk about compositing.
compositing.
Yes.
Yeah.
After Effects, Fusion, whatever.
Yeah. So I wanted to learn After Effects because I wanted to include lower thirds. If you don't know what that is, it's an animated text for names. Like if you see a thing will slide in, it'll say Neil, blah, 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 and then it'll kind of like, and it'll go away. There's all kinds of different ones. And I wanted to add a little bit more professionalism to the channel and introduce lower thirds. So we had to learn how to do that.
How long have I been telling you to do that for?
Oh, it's been at least 8 months.
Yeah.
And it's,
He tried After Effects a long time ago, and he just hated it because it's so much different than
it's
all the other
so
ones.
stupid. It took me 30 minutes to learn how to change the color of text. Because there's 3 different spots.
Yeah.
There's no need for it to be that complex.
Anyways, we finally learned how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We got them all done. We pre-made a bunch of lower thirds for your name, my name, Jason's name, Dad's name. And then, well, actually before that, we learned how to do motion tracking for text.
Yeah, we did a motion tracking text. We sent that to Andrew and Audie.
Andrew and Audie, yeah.
That's kind of a inside joke, I guess.
I'm going to play that.
You're gonna play it?
I'm going to play it in this
Okay, we'll
video.
include it in this video if you're on YouTube. If you're on the podcast, we love you, but I guess you have to be on YouTube to see that. But
I'm going to play it at the end of this for the YouTube people. I sent it to you. You already seen it. So basically, we put a fake screen on Jason's house, and then
we played the Burger King intro from a few videos ago.
I love that intro.
we made it look like it was
great.
part of the house. Basically,
Yeah.
there was a screen on the house, so we motion tracked it.
Right.
So we know how to do that now.
Yep.
Which was hard when you first started, and then you're like, oh, that's not too bad. So adding a little bit more professionalism. So we learned a lot of technical stuff yesterday. We had some good conversations about ideas for the live stream, which I guess we can discuss.
The live stream will be tomorrow. This will go live today, I assume, right?
Yeah, tonight,
We'll put this
yeah.
tonight. So yeah, tomorrow. So Monday, 8:30 Newfoundland time. 7. I say that for Brad.
Whoa.
Brad, if you're listening,
Brad,
shout out to you.
Brad, you're the man.
So 8:30 Newfoundland time, because Newfoundland is half an hour ahead of everyone else. I'm not going to even get into that.
Yeah.
7 Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Mountain, 4 Pacific. That's when it's going to start, and then we'll go for hours, depending on how. Like I think the last ones we've done have been between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So we'll just go based on how the field's going. If stuff's still going, we'll keep going. I mean, we got nothing to do, but
We're just going to be a Q&A.
yeah,
Just
ask questions, we'll
talk
answer.
whatever. We'll talk some hockey, obviously. And
We do have a plan to have some of our mods on from Discord to join us. I think Neil's dad's going to webcam in, so he'll be on the stream. Some of the mods I think are going to come. I don't know if they're webcamming or not, but they'll be on by voice, so we can talk with them and ask them questions and stuff. So we just want to try to, as a thank you to them, we're just going to include them, and I think it'd be cool because if you are on the Discord and you do chat with them, you know these people, and it'd be kind of cool to hear from them as
Yeah.
well. So
And that's the other technical side. We were up till 5 a.m. last night working on the live stream
yeah, get stuff
visuals
ready,
and OBS software and stuff.
the layout, and
Yeah.
yeah.
It looks pretty good though.
Yeah.
I think I'm really happy with it.
Yeah.
And that was all Jason. That was definitely not me. That's
He was over in the other room, and all you hear is. It's like, and I go over and he said, I can't change this color to red. And I go over and it's yellow, and he clicks on it, and he picks red, and he clicks OK, and it turns back yellow again.
It's like what? But I'm glad you know OBS because I was not ready to learn another program last night.
Well, he came into the room, and I said, I'm going to need you to go into Photoshop, and basically this is the layout we kind of need. And then I said, well, and I just started laying stuff out, and then all of a sudden it was laid out, and we didn't need it.
Yeah,
so
looked
it
pro.
kind of worked out. So
Yeah, you owned it.
We're pretty happy with that.
Yeah, you did a
so.
really good job. Because it's simple, but it's also complicated in a way. There's a lot of different layers,
Yeah.
and there's different scenes, and it's intense.
You want to have a good flow to it too. So if you are listening to this and you're not doing anything tomorrow night, definitely come onto the channel on YouTube. It will be live. If you're subscribed, which you probably are, you'll see that it's live. Just click on it. We'll be there. We'll be reading comments. We'll be answering questions. Just be interacting.
Yeah,
So.
just we'll talk, answer any questions you have. We'll talk some hockey.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, theorize on some rumors and all kinds of stuff.
We're just going to hang out.
We're just gonna chill.
Yep.
I mean, we're gonna eat cookies.
No hot chips though, right?
No hot chips. Hot. I have hot cheese sticks. Cheesies.
They're not cheesies though.
They're
Cheetos.
They're Cheetos.
Cheetos.
They're like the
I like
crunchy
Cheetos.
ones.
They're like blood red.
Oh god,
Yeah.
blood red.
They're very similar to those Doritos we had with the gray bag.
Okay, well those were good.
Yeah,
I could handle those.
They have a
like
little
that,
bit of a spice at first, and then that kind of reaches its limit.
Yeah, because those chips you got from like Malt Burn or
No,
whatever.
No, it's
it's
nothing like
not
that.
close to that.
It's nothing like that.
Whoa.
People saw that video and they're like, "These chips are noob. You should try the Doritos." I'm like, the
Doritos
chips
were
are
nothing.
nothing compared to
Yeah,
these
nothing.
bulk burn chips.
That's
Like I was
probably
telling,
the spice thing.
like I was telling him, like they've been doing the one chip challenge on a lot of the sports shows where it's like legit. You get a bag with one chip in it, and like I know Shaq did it on the baseball thing, and like
Some other baseball
on the
players
basketball
do it.
on the basketball thing. Sorry, and it's just you see Shaq eat it, and he's like, "This is no big deal," and he's like, and he just keeps like, "I'm not doing anything," and his tear just running right down his eye right here. So I think that one would be a lot worse than the chips we
it's
tried.
one chip, and like one chip, and he's crying from one chip.
Yeah,
Like, it must be pretty hot.
Yeah, I wouldn't even want to try it.
No.
Especially after the chips we used for the hockey trivia.
Yeah, that's bad.
Oh, it would be way worse than that. I know it would.
We need to do another hockey trivia soon.
Google has a hockey trivia.
Oh,
we
yeah.
did terrible.
Yeah, we did. We got 2 out of 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta try this.
Yeah, you tell it to drop the puck. This is new. I don't know if you have to be in Canada to do this. If you go into Google Assistant or if you have a Google Home, you can tell it to drop the puck, and it plays like this, and then this voice comes on and starts asking you questions, and it's multiple choice, and we got 2 out of 6.
Wow.
We did terrible.
So yeah, we didn't do very good, and it was very insulting when we were wrong too.
Yeah, it's funny.
It was taking jabs at us for sure.
Yeah, like really, that's what you're gonna choose?
Yeah.
Well, you need to do some research. Like,
Great.
it's funny.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyways, I think that's good.
I'm gonna let you wrap this one up.
No, I'm not gonna wrap this one. I started. You can end it.
All right, thanks guys for watching. Appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, hopefully you can hit the subscribe button if you're new. If you like this podcast, hit the like button. If you're listening on iTunes, we'd love it if you'd leave us a positive review. If you're listening this long, you probably at least like it, so help us out, leave us a good review. Same with Google Music. I think you can leave reviews on there. Google Play Music.
I have no idea. I know on iTunes you can. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Yeah, share this podcast with a friend if you have a fellow hockey friend and they're not subscribed. We'd love to have them join us here on the YouTubes. That would be awesome. And
Join us on Discord.
Yeah.
Come to the live stream tomorrow.
Follow me on Twitter. I'm almost at 1,000 followers.
Oh, jeez.
Boom. Post to Post Show at Post to Post Show. What else? I think that's it.
I think that's it.
That's it. We're gonna enjoy these cookies now. Thanks guys for watching. Appreciate it. And shortly in a couple seconds you will see the video that we made, the funny video.
Oh, the tracking. That's right.
All right. See you guys later. Adios.
Hey, I'm AP. And I'm Audie. We're here at Burger King, and you're watching Post to Post. Let's get it!